Ever feel like you want to get more done in less time? Yeah, you're definitely in the right place. In this explainer, we're going to distill decades of productivity advice into a simple 5-step system you can actually use. See, the goal isn't just to work harder, it's to literally rewire your brain to make success almost automatic. Okay, let's dive in.
So, does this sound familiar? Your to-do list is a mile long. You are constantly busy. You're jumping from one thing to the next. But when your head hits the pillow, you feel like you haven't really accomplished anything important. You know, this feeling of being busy but not actually productive, it's like a modern epidemic, and it's a fast track to overwhelm and stress.
So here's the absolute key, the thing you have to get. The most successful people out there, they don't just run on raw discipline or willpower. Nope, they build systems that make it almost impossible to fail. They literally design their lives for productivity. And that's exactly what we're going to break down today.
All right, let's kick things off with our very first step, a quick win. This is a brilliant little concept from David Allen's book, Getting Things Done, and it's going to help you build some serious momentum right away.
The rule is just beautiful in its simplicity. If you can do something, anything, in less than 2 minutes, just do it, right then and there. Don't plan it, don't put it on a list, don't track it. Why? Well, think about it. The mental energy you spend just thinking about it and then adding it to a list, that often takes more time than the task itself.
You know, this quote perfectly illustrates the hidden cost of putting off those small tasks. Each one of those tiny, undone things is like an open loop in your brain. It creates this low-grade hum of stress in the background. But when you knock them out immediately, you free up all that mental space and you build this amazing momentum for the bigger stuff.
Okay, so we've handled the small stuff, but what about the big tasks? You know, the work that really demands your time and your energy. For that, you need a compass. So let's move on to step 2, fixing your focus.
You just can't be productive if you have no idea what to focus on. It's kind of like a vector in physics, right? It has both force and direction. You can work incredibly hard. You can apply a ton of force, but if it's pointed in the wrong direction, you're just getting nowhere faster.
And this brings us to a really powerful concept called a North Star metric. The whole idea is to boil down all your complex goals into one single measurable number. So, for example, when Dan Martell was building his company Clarity, their North Star metric was expert-driven signups. That's it. That one number guided every single decision they made, and it got the entire team laser-focused. So how do you find that kind of focus in your own life? Well, it's actually a simple 2-step process. First, at the beginning of the year, you define 12 power goals for your whole life. Then, and this is the most important part, you break those big goals down into 3 tangible daily wins. These are the 3 most important projects that will actually move you towards your goals each day. Now, to make this work, you have to constantly review those goals. I'm talking at least 3 times a day. This is what makes sure your calendar, your daily actions truly reflects your big picture ambitions. You know, like Stephen Covey said, you have to keep the main thing the main thing. Okay, so now you know exactly what to focus on. The next step is just as critical. You have to cut out everything else. See, true productivity is a game of subtraction, not addition. This is your shield.
Here is an incredibly powerful filter for every single request that comes your way. If your immediate gut reaction isn't an enthusiastic heck yeah, then it has to be a firm hell no. This one simple rule stops your schedule from filling up with all those lukewarm commitments that just drain your energy and steal your focus.
Think about this number for a second. 86,400. That's how many seconds you get every single day. I want you to start framing it like a time bank account. So every time someone asks for just a second of your time, they are making a withdrawal, and you have to be the gatekeeper of that account.
So here are 3 super actionable ways to do it. First, make no your default answer. Protect your time. Second, audit your time every single week and create a monthly kill list of recurring tasks or meetings that don't serve your goals. And third, live in do not disturb mode. Turn off all the non-essential notifications, schedule specific times to check in. You control the tech, don't let it control you.
All right, you've cleared out all the noise. Now it is time to optimize for your most important resource. And listen, it's not time, it's your energy. This step is all about protecting your fuel.
Look, everybody has natural energy peaks and troughs throughout the day. The real secret is to identify your peak hours, for a lot of us that's the morning, and then protect that time fiercely for your most challenging, creative, deep work. I promise you, you'll get more done with so much less effort.
So how do you maximize it? Well, first, just like you did with your time, perform an energy audit. Pay attention to what activities drain you and what activities energize you, and then schedule your day accordingly. Second, exhaust the body to tame the mind. Intense physical exercise, even if it's just a short burst, can completely clear your head, boost your focus, and prime you for your best work.
And here we are. We've arrived at the final and honestly the most critical step of all. This is where we make productivity automatic. This right here is the engine that drives everything.
You know, as James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, says, goals are great for setting a direction, but it's the systems that are best for making progress. Think about it. Motivation is fickle. It comes and it goes. But a good system, it runs every single day whether you feel like it or not.
And here's a fantastic way to think about what a system actually does for you. It's an acronym. Systems. Save yourself time, energy, money, and stress. That's the whole point, right? To make your life easier and way more effective.
Here are 4 essential systems you can build right away. First, batch similar tasks together, like all your calls or all your content creation. This helps you avoid constantly switching gears. Second, use the don't repeat yourself principle. Create checklists and documents for anything you do over and over. Third, delegate effectively with something called the 10-80-10 rule. And finally, standardize your meetings with clear agendas and outcomes.
Okay, let's take a closer look at delegation using this really powerful model called the 10-80-10 rule. Here's how it works. You are heavily involved in that first 10%, setting the vision and the direction. Then, you step completely away for the middle 80%, empowering your team to just execute the project. Finally, you come back for the last 10% to help integrate and finalize the work. This framework lets you guide your projects without ever getting bogged down in micromanagement.
Now, a common pushback to all of this is that structure and systems kill creativity. But the reality is the exact opposite. Constraints are the very thing that fuel creativity. When all your foundational stuff is systemized and running on autopilot, your mind is freed up to be present, to be creative, and to do your absolute best work.
So just remember, structure is not the enemy of freedom. It is the path to it. By building these systems, you're not confining yourself. You're literally buying back your time, your energy, and your focus to spend on what truly matters to you. So the only question left is, what is the first system you're going to build?